I'm the chair, Chester Bokich. I'm going to go ahead and let Genevieve, our first guest, get started here. I think my computer went to sleep, even though I'm presenting. That's annoying. Okay, so Genevieve is with Protect a Vote Arizona. I think it's showing. Okay, I think it's coming up. I'll figure it out while Genevieve presents. So I'll just let you take over, Genevieve.
Okay.
Everyone at Zoom,
okay.
Hello. Okay.
Okay, thank
this
you.
This is for the viewers on Zoom.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, and I can just press the button too.
Yeah.
Okay. So, not to keep anyone waiting, but hi, I'm Genevieve. I'm with Protect the Vote Arizona. Thank you guys for all being here today, and thank you for letting me speak. Just a couple of the things I'm going to cover today is what our mission is, equity and accessibility, the progress that we've made thus far, what we still need, how to be involved, and sort of just the questions and petitions that we have here tonight. So our mission is to keep early ballots and mail-in voting legal in Arizona. Currently, it's at risk of being taken away due to the belief that the 2020 election was stolen. Donald Trump is against that. So we are currently gathering 500,000 signatures to get on the ballot the option to choose to keep mail-in voting legal. This would enshrine it into the state constitution, which means it cannot be revoked regardless of who is in office, which I think would be pretty great, that the state can decide that for themselves rather than being taken away. So one of the things that I bring to Protect the Vote is the explanation of why this matters beyond just, convenience. Is it's an equity and accessibility issue. Marginalized communities such as physically and mentally disabled persons, elderly communities, rural communities, and impoverished persons, they're not able to just take a day off of work or go to a voting station. It restricts voter turnout. So 80% of Arizonans mail in their vote. As of 2020, it was 95% of Arizonans. So people that are relying on this to access voting, they're just not going to vote anymore. And it's an incentive to not vote, which makes people less politically involved. And it's been proven that states that are less politically involved are economically and just economically not doing very well, as there's higher rates of mental health problems and people feeling disconnected from their own government. So this leaves the top 20% being the only voices that are heard, such as wealthy, able-bodied, young, and privileged people. And that's not what democracy is made of. When only certain voices are heard, the opportunity to be heard. When only certain voices are granted the opportunity to be heard, that's when democracy crumbles, and that's when certain voices are weighed more than others. That's not what we stand for. So the progress that we've made thus far is we've gathered 200,000 signatures, which is really wonderful, but we still need 300,000 more before July 2nd, which is 23 days away. So ways to get involved. We will make this experience as accessible as possible. So if you need a car ride to go to phone banking with us or to Canvas with us, we can get someone to pick you up, drop you off. We can mail petitions to your home and then gather them once they're completed. We can provide notary locations closest to you and your zip code just to make sure it's especially easy, even contacting notaries to come to you. I just spoke today with the Arizona Independent Disability Living Initiative. And so that was one thing that I told them is that we will find notaries for you. We will bring them to you. We will gather them for you because there are people who can't even leave their homes and their voices still deserve to be heard. So some of the next steps are, if anyone has any questions, I'll be here, but I'm going to be leaving petitions behind that you can gather back there. And if you want to contact me about anything at all, this is my personal email address as well as my personal phone number. I answer pretty quickly if anyone ever has a question about how to be more involved, or if they have, if they need more petitions, or if they need their petitions to be gathered. We can find someone usually within 24 hours, but other than that, oh, sorry. Yeah, and I can write a note too at the very end. I can leave a piece of paper back there as well with this information too. And also Chester has my contact information as well. So if anyone needs it, I have a very long name.
When did you say you need to have all the petitions?
By July 2nd. Yeah, so 23 days from now, which seems soon, but it's usually in the final hour that these things kind of start to pick up the pace. And so that's what will happen. But yeah, I mean, thank you guys so much for listening to me, and your work does not go unnoticed. All of you are making a difference just by being here. And so please gather some petitions in the back, hand them out to people that you know. contact me if you need them to be gathered. Contact me if you need more. We always like it when people need more. And thank you so much. So let's protect the vote. Oh, do you have a question?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So the note, you need to notarize each sheet or how does
Yes. Yeah, so you need
Right.
each sheet to be notarized on our events on Saturdays, which the address is 1009 Grand Avenue. But that is also something I can leave in the back. We have a notary on site, usually for a couple of hours at a time. We had a notary in today as well. So that's something if you were to contact me, I could probably figure out when notaries are in. But I let people know what notaries are nearby. If they give me their address or if they don't feel comfortable doing that, they give me their zip code and then I can tell them what notaries are available at what times. And same with, I'm pretty sure sometimes at the depots as well, there's occasionally notaries and I give out the depot notification or the depot information so that you can contact them and ask them, when are the notaries on site? What times can I come? Yeah.
Do they charge a fee for these or
To notarize? No.
notarize the petitions?
No.
So you can go to any notary?
Any notary at any time, yeah.
We also have notaries available in the LD as well. So
Yeah.
you can reach out to us as well.
Yes, so there's notaries available at the LD. But yeah, so the notarizing thing I think is probably the hardest part for some people is you get the signatures and then you have to do that and that's just one extra step. But we try to make it accessible and we try to make it as easy as possible because people are, doing this really kind thing and really getting involved politically. Like we don't want that to be the thing that makes people not submit their signatures, so we try to make it as easy as possible. But if there's no other questions, I won't take up any more of your time, but thank you guys so much. And please gather petitions in the back. But other than that, that's all I have to say.
Gina Mendez.
Oh, underprepared that I didn't put really low.
Oh, you're fine. I just reuse the same one every month, so.
Okay, cool. Do I have to look in here? Yeah, okay. What's up, y'all? Hello, everyone. My name is Gina Mendez, and I'm the organizing director at an organization called Lucha. Real quick, has anyone heard of Lucha? Perfect. Okay, dope. So I don't really have to explain a whole lot. I do or don't? Okay, so it's not just Lucha that I work for. We have our sister organization, ACE, Arizona Center for Empowerment, but I'm the organizing director for both. Essentially, we're an organization that focuses on racial and economic justice issues. And so one of the campaigns that we are working on is called In Arizona We Deserve. And so a lot of the work that we do at Lucha is honestly to push progressive policy at a state level that puts everyday people first. And so how we're doing that is we're organizing in different neighborhoods. So we're a statewide organization, and really it's like, how do we build people power to fight for what we want to see become a reality, right? To be honest, I didn't even know organizations like this existed. I live on the South Side. I went to school in the Roosevelt School District, Southwest Elementary. And then I also went to Cesar Chavez High School. I know we changed the name Cactus Canyon, but this is my community. I'm part of LD 11, and I haven't been able to come to the meetings because I have a team of high school students that meet every Wednesday during this time. But they didn't meet today because they're in the summer break, and so we meet a little bit earlier now. But I really wanted to make time to be here and be able to talk to you all about now in this moment. And kind of sharing back to like me not knowing about like organizations like Lucha existing, let alone like I didn't even know like about voting. And so I know that you all are here for a reason, and we're trying to get our neighbors and family members to participate. For me, like this moment is really about like the community members that I work with every day, and my mom. And in 2004, when I was a student that had just moved from California to Arizona, I didn't know what South Phoenix would look like. But when I moved to the South Side, I saw a lot of people who looked like me, and it made me feel at home. But being on the South Side and going to Cesar Chavez High School, I remember one time when a bunch of students started running to the front of the school. I didn't know what was happening, and at our school, we often had a lot of rumbles, so large groups fighting each other. But I remember when I went to the front of the campus, and there was just a bunch of students standing around, I was like, what's going on? and my friends told me we're gonna have a walkout. I didn't know what a walkout was. For me, it was a perfect opportunity to ditch. And that was my plan. I planned that I was going to go to Jack in the Box on 19th Ave and Broadway and not be at school the rest of the day. But when that moment happened, some of the students actually walked out of their school. And so I stayed back for a little bit. And then students from the second lunch came out and they're like, no, we're going to leave. So I was like, you know what? Let's leave. I'm down to go. Let's go to Jack in the Box. But it was pretty crazy because the administration had came outside and they closed the gates on us. And my friend, she was like, why don't we just jump over the gate? So she did. I couldn't. I'm a little bit bigger. But, a lot of students started to jump the gates. And when people were jumping the gates, someone had made a comment saying that's how Mexicans jump the border. So again, I didn't know why the people were saying that, but I knew that I was trying to leave the campus. And so a lot of students got angry. They started to shake the gates where the administration said, you know what, just let them leave. The cops were outside, principal, teachers were outside. And I'm like, you know what, let's just see what this is about. And I remember that day because when I started to walk down on baseline, it was really hot, but there was a lot of excitement. Students wearing white shirts, and they were telling me that they were going to go to the Capitol. And so as students were marching down baseline, there was a lot of cars who were passing us by, cheering us on. And there was also a lot of cars that were yelling at us to go back to Mexico. And again, I had not been in Arizona that long, and I really didn't understand why people were yelling at me to go back to Mexico. Because I'm from California. What do you mean? But I ended up actually going all the way to the state capitol. And there was a bunch of students who walked out from all across the valley. But no one engaged me. This was a really important moment of my life that I had experienced. But I just left the Capitol and that was it. I didn't get involved into movement until 2016 when I was a student at ASU. And Lucha reached out to me because they were working on a campaign to increase the minimum wage here in Arizona and to also fight for earned sick day. So for me, I was like, okay, well, I'm learning about this in my school. I'm learning about income inequality. I'm learning about why the rich get richer and the poor stay poor. Like, I think we should increase the minimum wage. But in that moment and in the club that I was a part of, they didn't agree with it. And as a club, we had to decide on whether or not we were going to help out Lucha as an organization. And so what I thought was about my mom, who was a minimum wage worker, who worked at the cafeteria at Cesar Chavez High School, but who also worked at Ross on 24th Street and Baseline. And I thought about my family because our family was struggling financially, and we still are. And so I decided for me in that moment that with or without my club, I'm going to get involved in movement. And I've been involved ever since. And it sucks that, I'm seeing a lot of the same things happening. This year, there's 25 anti-immigrant bills that were introduced at the state level. It's not just bills around immigration. There's bills that attack, education, healthcare, a bunch of important programs that the communities that we are a part of depend on. And so this is why it's important for us to be involved. But you all know that. But sometimes we got to get out of our bubble, We get stuck in a bubble and we just talk to and preach to the choir. And so I wanted to come here to see how can we work together? How can we ensure that the people on the South Side actually do participate and vote? How do we create the next wave of generational leaders? Because you know what? Politicians aren't going to save us. They are not our friends. They're not my friends. They're not my saviors. To me, they're a target. And the reality is that whether they're Republican or whether they're a Democrat, a lot of them still don't listen to the community. But I know where my values are at. And I got to remind my elected officials, especially here on the South Side, like, hey, this is what community needs. And so that's why I want to work with you all. You know, right now they're finalizing the budget. I'm curious, did any of you all speak to our reps to tell them where should they allocate our money? Yeah, so it sounds like a few of us did. Well, we need folks to continue to do that and to hold the line. But like I said, how do we organize the people outside of our groups that we're a part of? And that's how Lucha can come in. You know, we have different trainings. We do a lot of political education. And we can come together to really uplift, to ensure that our neighbors are participating and that our people are staying involved. And so I brought a few different flyers. If you're looking to get involved, we have an upcoming event on July 11th. We're training people how to become constitutional observers. We know that the federal government last year got $175 billion for immigration enforcement, and they're about to get $72 billion more. What does that mean? Well, it means more people in our communities being kidnapped, but it also means that we might see ICE at the polls, right? We saw what happened in Minnesota. They didn't shoot me. They didn't shoot people who look like me there. They're coming for everybody. And we saw what just happened with the Voting Rights Act and how they attacked that. And so we've been showing up to the Board of Supervisors meetings to also speak out against what Justin Heap is trying to do. And so I encourage you all, you know, show up to those spaces if you all can. But if you also can participate and want to be trained on how to be a constitutional observer, connect with me. I have a sign-in sheet. It's going to be July 11th. And we're going to bring community members together and also talk about how we can make sure that we're organizing in our barrios. Thank you.
Does anyone have questions for Gina? Yes. I want the Zoom people to hear, sorry. Always complain about not.
I was just gonna ask about, like, I live in Levine, and I know people my age, and I know what they're doing, and I'm reaching out to them. I have no idea what, like, younger kids or people that don't vote, and that's what they say. We have to get everybody who is not voting to get out and vote. That's how we can win. But I don't know. I mean, I have almost all my friends vote and, you know, are on my side. How do you guys approach getting younger people to know the same things, and you're talking to people who don't vote to get them to vote? Because I've tried before and they're like, nah, but we have to get them. We need help.
Yeah, agreed.
So we do a lot of work with different schools, you know, through our sister organization, ACE. We do a lot of voter registration at the schools. We have a great partnership with Phoenix Union and other school districts. And so, you know, that's one way. But it's really like a lot of the spaces that we hold, we invite families. And then from there, it's like, okay, who are your kids? Where do they go to school with? Who are their friends? And so we like to hold a lot of family events. And then from there, it's like, okay, like, hey, we have the youth right here. We have the parents right here. But all of the things that are impacting, you know, community is impacting all of us, whether you're a, you know, youth or an adult or an elder, right? And so we try to hold family events, but also we really try to create space to organize in different high schools, different college students as well. So tabling, classroom presentations, yeah.
Another question? Let me run over there.
Okay, are you familiar with the deputy registrar's program?
Yes.
Okay, because they are trying to get into different high schools to get seniors registered. And if you're 16, you can be a junior deputy registrar.
Yeah.
So that's one outlet perhaps that you could use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, we need more programs, more jobs that are trying to engage our youth that are already in the schools to bring out their family, their friends, right? So I do know a little bit about that, but that's, you know, a great reminder that we gotta like ensure that people are participating in that. Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that was really important is so Phoenix Union a few years ago they had the participatory budgeting, and so that's really really important. It was a really great opportunity for students to learn about civic engagement, but in addition to that they would invite community organizations to come in and to be able to talk to the students who are eligible to vote to get registered to vote. That hasn't happened in a minute, but we need more programs like that to do participatory budgeting in Phoenix Union and different school districts because that's a great way to teach young people about civic participation and to get registered, especially if they're eligible to. Yes. Any other questions?
I just got a question. Let me run back there.
Yes.
Real quick. Patrick, don't we have a second mic? Yeah. It's right there.
Perfect.
He was walking.
I know Chester's like getting his workout in.
Not necessarily a question, just in response to some of the things that I heard. The PB was a great thing to bring up. We actually just had a meeting about that earlier at an educational luncheon for democracy about potentially getting board members and candidates that were in the room to be on board with bringing PB back to our school
Yeah.
districts that don't have it anymore. It's not all just only a great. It does challenge their inner civic responsibility, what I like to call it, by having them in the room when these discussions are being made about budgeting around their school districts that impact them and their families.
That's
We're
right.
talking about property taxes. We're talking about school dress code, and if we're going to have money for their school sporting outings, et cetera. So to have those students in the district meetings were very imperative when that was going on. And it's something that I take really much interest into bringing back.
Yeah.
But only one thing that you did mention that I don't think a lot of people caught is that the PB was allowing these students to get pre-registered to vote at 17 years of age. So what it was doing is most of these kids who were entering this program for a numerous amount of things were also being pre-registered to vote. So when they turned 18, they were automatically able to vote in the next primary, runoff, or general election that was coming up in their district. So I think that's an important thing to note. And to Stephanie's question, when she mentioned how do we reach our young people, I mean, I like to tell everybody this even at the door. You know, you have to get young people who are adequate and ready to represent to reach young people. I mean, I sit in a room with a lot of older folks all the time, but I also know how to switch it up when I get around young people, especially as a teacher that teaches middle school. You have to know how to reach both generations to make that interconnection between both pathways. And I think that's what we have to start doing. I mean, I've been coming to these LD meetings for a minute, and I think I'm always the youngest one. And you know, that's not a shameful thing on my end, but it is on your guys' end because we have to do a better job at making sure we attract young people to these spaces. So
Right.
that's one of the answers that I would give into that feedback.
Yeah. And although maybe not a lot of young people are coming to the meetings, right? Like that doesn't mean young people aren't involved.
Mhm.
And so it's like, what is that bridge that we got to do? And you know, how do we focus beyond just winning an election, but actually focus on the students, the families, right? Not just trying to win an election. And
Any other questions for Gina from Lucha?
What's PB?
Oh, okay. It's a great program. We need to bring that back. I also brought some blue cards. So, you know, I know many of you will probably go to different protests. And so these are your rights when you show up to a protest. So if anyone needs them, I have them up here. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you know?
Oh, perfect.
Let me get
Yes.
this real quick so our Zoom viewers can hear you.
I'm taking off my legislator hat
Yeah.
for this. Okay. So Lucha is branded in our community. Anybody who is young and engaged knows Lucha. Problem is, they don't know LD11 or South Mountain Dems. We're not branded in that community, in that age group. And I really think we should do a combined event
Yeah.
for young professionals or students that really gears, that is a this and a social event that
Mhm.
doesn't drive, because what's conflicting with the community when I hit doors, when I talk to people who come to speak to me, it's like, we know Lucha, they've reached out, they've hit the doors, they've seen the mailers, they've seen them in the community. I mean, there's like how many events in our community that's branded with Lucha? LD11 doesn't have the money to go and brand themselves. What we need to do is get approved, community approved by Lucha. And so doing an event this summer saying we're combined and doing a young professional or students or young dem or something of some sort that is not driven on a field event yet, but introducing, I don't know, something not as intimidating
Mhm.
and just being social and talking about community and bringing something to the forefront, to me would be really helpful in attracting youth to say, okay, these people weren't that bad. That politician,
Yeah.
which is me, ain't that intimidating.
Yeah.
But saying that, like, okay, this isn't so bad. Maybe we could try out and go to one of their events after the invite. But doing something to really brand LD11 as another bridge, because
Mhm.
Lucha's doing the hard work. Not saying we aren't, but they're literally at the doors every day. We go out certain periods of time, but I think having an event with Lucha should be considered with RLD11 to do something social and before the election starts. Granted, primaries, we're lucky our slate doesn't have anything crazy, but if we can do something earlier would be nice for these students, especially you don't know who's around, right, during the summer. And giving them an outlet to do something good and social might be nice. And I'm sure we can find a sponsor to pay for any social entity if you guys think about it. So
That's a great idea.
Love it.
I even have an event. We do barrio dinners, community dinners. That's a space that we already hold, and it's like bringing community together, break some bread, but with some slight political education and also reimagining what our communities can look like. So.
how many people go to your event?
Yeah, so it depends. So like when we do the barrio events, if it's in a neighborhood, right? Some of our leaders hold them. So if they're organizing their block, it can be anywhere from 15 to 25 people. If it's one of our organizers who's like hosting it, it could be anywhere from 30 to 60 people. Yeah. So we've been doing them. We're trying to do one actually with our youth on the south side are trying to do one. So that might be a great next space. Yeah. Other
Great,
questions?
great stuff. Very
Perfect.
productive.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Gina. I'm glad you made it. Okay. So I've been trying to get Gina to come to one of our meetings for months, but like she said, she's always busy at this time.
I know our
Working with the youths that we're talking about right now. So but that's awesome. I would love to partner with you guys.
Yeah, on the south side? Yeah. So we have Wednesday meetings by weekly, either at the Selective or at the Childhood Center. So they
All right. So yes, what's up?
I'm going to make an announcement about
Oh, yeah.
solidarity.
Do you want to do it after when the cameras are off? Or?
If it's okay, it's okay. I can be
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sure. Thank you so much.
We got a quick announcement from Organized. I always forget.
Organized Solidarity Collective.
Organized Solidarity Collective.
Great. Thank you so much, Jessica. Hi, everyone. My name is Tanya Palit Hussein. I was here at a meeting about 6 months ago talking about the work that I'm doing and many, many others with Organized Solidarity Collective. We're not a nonprofit. We're a group of loosely organized neighbors and citizens throughout the valley who started by providing groceries, basically, to support the families of people whose loved ones had been abducted by ICE, basically. I don't even have to spend a lot of time, I think, emphasizing how just devastating the Homeland Security operations have been since the election of President Trump. There's been more than 15,000 people in our state alone that have been kidnapped and held at detention centers, deported. And I'm sure many of you have heard about the gross violations of human rights at the detention centers here in Arizona, especially Eloy Detention Center, just north of Tucson, has been named the deadliest detention center. People are dying of stupid things like a tooth infection. But meanwhile, here we remain very committed, and our group we operate in sort of stealthy ways. We're not trying to, even though we're just bringing groceries and diapers and essential things to people who need them, we are also at risk of, we try to maintain anonymity, not just for ourselves, but really for the families, because there's an effort to target the families of people who've been taken as well. So I would just like to say tonight, our calls for action are, I'm going to pass this around. If you're interested in getting involved or just simply learning more about what we do, please, there's a number here. You can text our good friend Leslie. She and her husband Brian coordinate all of our efforts every day of the week. We're going to food banks, we're making drop-offs, we're sending, we use Signal, a chat service, which is encrypted to communicate, just to get people things that they need, just to help our neighbors. Sometimes we'll get together, and if somebody has a special need, maybe somebody's water has been cut off, we might help raise money to pay that bill or just deliver water. It's amazing what we can do as a community when we come together and do these direct actions. It's also a wonderful way to start building some of that community, and also to model for our young people and our children, how can you help in these times where we can honestly feel so helpless. So I'm going to send this around. What we're really looking for is more people to join us in grocery deliveries. If you have the time and bandwidth, we're happy to train and send buddies along to, show people show people the ropes. We are asking for donations of non-perishable foods, we have several hubs throughout the community that we've set up at people's homes where we collect things like diapers and dry foods. And also, we are just always looking for monetary donations. So there's a way you can donate today by Zelle or Venmo if you feel moved to do so. But I don't know if I can hold this up. If this gets recorded, maybe somebody wants to take a screenshot. We're very low tech again. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, but I'm just going to be here for another 15 minutes or so, but please do let us know. On the second page, you can provide your name, and you can just give us your first name if you like, your phone number and your city. So we try to coordinate geographically. I'm not sure if the best way for folks on Zoom, we'll take a picture of this and we'll. Oh, great. Okay. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions? What can I answer? That was really fast, I know, but yes, please.
Sorry, online.
I'll repeat.
You do need other goods like kids' clothes.
Yes.
Things like that.
Thank you. Yes, good question about other things that we need. Kids' clothes, sometimes shoes. What happens is that we have kind of, through the Signal chat, we are notified of any needs that as they come up. But we are often looking for, especially small, like baby, toddlers' clothes. But we have specific calls for that. But anybody who can donate things like that, baby formula is another big thing. I mean, it's a very simple act, but it's one that has been, I think, transformative for so many of us in terms of getting to know our neighbors, getting to know our community, and also just, building this sense of collective care that we have to operate on, I think, because now I think we're the ones we're waiting for, as they say. So this has been an incredible exercise in people power. And also we're learning as we go. Many of us are not professional organizers. We're a bunch of people who really care and can't do nothing. So please join us in whatever way is possible for you. And if you would like us, if you are involved in other spaces where you'd like us to come and send a representative to talk more in depth about the work or gather people, we'd be happy to do that. Thank you so much. Other questions? All right, great. I'm just going to send this around and let us know. Thanks, Justin. Thank you.
Okay, so before I get to my chair report, I'll go ahead and let any local electeds speak. Janelle just came from the Capitol, and I'm sure she has a lot to share about the budget. So thank you for being here. Someone else committed to come and didn't.
That's all right. I'm here. Okay. So I'm going to start on the lighter stuff. It's been great the last couple of weeks since I last saw you. If you don't know, one of the big up and coming things in our district, I'm going to focus on our district before the state, is that if you don't know, Honeywell Aerospace launched their entire national program in our district right behind the airport. So if you don't know what that means, you're talking about an entire industry space, Honeywell Aerospace, focused on building two types of turbines and engines, providing more jobs, are built here in LD11. It is an enormous facility. I will be opening tours. So you'll hear later down the line, I'll be bringing both the public as well as community leaders to see it. And more importantly, our high school principals, so they can actually get a first look at what certain types of STEM programs can lead to certain types of jobs, and right here in our district. They don't have to always fly away to go get a great job. And second, it's been fun. Graduation's upon us, right? Everybody's had how many? If you don't know a student who's graduated, then look on our rock, because they're all over the place. And it's been fun, talking to a lot of these high school students on their next steps, programs that are offered in the state, which are tremendous now with the governor's injection into new fields. And so if you know a student who's looking for a job or looking for a new program, have them look on the governor's website. There's a lot more going on. Now, what everybody's really excited about is budget. And, it's always fun times, right? We're expected to have a vote, hopefully by Friday. We're going to cow the budget tomorrow, hopefully. But there are some highlights that I think you guys should know about. Some of the big things and big talking points is, and if I don't talk about it right now, you can feel free to ask the question, but is there access? Is there cuts to SNAP? One of the greater things is that didn't happen. We've had, now it's been a debate over the last couple of months because we're obviously getting a huge budget cut because we don't have federal support in certain ways. And it's been a great, on one outlook, we're all kind of looking out for the worst case scenario. And JLVC came back with a very possible finding of more revenue to come out. And so that's resulted in many other supportive programs. Now, a lot of agencies are getting cut, not 5% of their budget, but 2.5%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot as it adds up. There's certain agencies that are not going to get touched at all. And so, and I can go down that list. But just to give you some overarching, I think some of the big things that you guys might hear about, or if you haven't, one is that on data centers, which is something I've been championing for since I came into office, is that there is a 3-year moratorium on data center tax incentives for new businesses. What does that mean? This last year was 19 million that we lost. This year we lost 32 million. Next year we're going to lose probably expected about 50 on the data centers that are already here. There are 10 more in the pipeline. That means we're not getting, now we were not going to get the revenue from those new data centers. Now we are, right? So there's a 3-year moratorium. Now that's just the start of the fight, because that 3 years gives Arizona an opportunity to actually do something with that finances, more in R&D, more in research. And it is an opportunity. If we don't do anything, then it's wasted time, right? And so that was really huge. Some of the big things that you guys want to talk about is we did stop Republicans planning to kick off 40,000 Arizonans from access. That's huge. We had 20 million, or we're going to hopefully have 20 million in mitigation and 163 full-time employees in access and DES. That's more employees to help those two programs, which is huge, especially as we're about to get through a really tough time in our state. And so it's just some of the big things. But I think a couple other, there's a lot on Health and Human Services Friday, because today's Wednesday. I'll be posting that on my social feed of everything that we've gotten. And so if you want to take a look, it'll be a nice bulleted pointed version of everything that we have achieved. I haven't put anything out because we're still in debate, right? They're still negotiating. Nothing's solid. Don't want to put out misinformation, but those are some of the big things that I'd like to talk about. We've also got 45 million. We're asking for 45 million DES childcare assistance for working families. That's huge for us. Now, we've got 183 million for school board renewal grants, which is big for our district because our schools are being challenged. Now, middle class tax cuts, there's all kinds of things that we've fought for. Increased standard deduction, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. there's a lot of things we got, a lot of great things. And so I don't, for now, I'll just answer if there are any questions that you guys might have regarding the budget, because it's pretty extensive. There's like 3 pages of things that we achieved, and many more once we get through the next 48 hours. Tomorrow we were voting yesterday and today, and tomorrow will probably go pretty late, as expected. And then Friday, hopefully we can wrap up before 10 p.m. is what I'm hoping. But happy to answer any questions or thoughts or concerns, actually. One of the big things that I will tell you was short-sighted for us was that, if you didn't know, the city of Phoenix cut a lot of the assistance to those who were homeless and providing services at the parks. And unfortunately, although we have some funding from last year to support nonprofits who provide services to the homeless, I estimate we're going to need more. And so I brought it up in conversation, and I'm hoping that, we get a more additional funding, because it was short-sighted on us. Obviously, the state my other colleagues didn't realize that was going to get passed through in the city council, but obviously that's a big impact for us because those shelters reside in our district. And so hopefully we can move that on and figure out how that's going to impact us both in Levine and northern part of the South Mountain and other areas. So yeah. Any other thoughts, questions, ideas? Yes.
So first of all, Shaniva, I know y'all are working like super hard, and really like want to appreciate like everything y'all are doing for us. I'm curious, like with the tax cuts, I know that there's like we need to increase revenue in Arizona.
Yeah.
Granted, we need billionaires, corporations to pay their part of it, but I'm curious with like the no tax or the tax the tax cuts that you were talking about, like for the middle class, like how much money is gonna go, are we taking from like programs actually, like
It's a lot.
because taxes pay like public, it's a lot of social programs, but
Yeah.
if we're the ones that are paying taxes but like getting the no tax on the tips, like how much less money are we going to have that actually would go to programs that would benefit community?
So one of the things I wanted to bring up, because, one of the things that we had a hard time trying to acknowledge, hold on, let me just pull up the list because it's a long list. 1 second. Everybody was talking about tax conformity. If you don't understand it, it's what the federal government has imposed on each state to get certain types of revenue, X, Y, and Z. And one of the areas that people were worried about was what, after taxes, because we have a shortage, right? Like what agencies were going to get cut. Agencies would result in cuts in programs. And what I want to say is the areas that are not cut. And I think that'll probably give you some ease on, hold on 1 second. I'm so sorry. 1 second. Hold on. I apologize. So there are certain things, and I want to answer the agency question. So Democrats made tax conformity better by 5 areas. So we replaced SALT provision, which benefits the ultra rich, with an expansion of working families' child tax credit. We ensured that senior tax benefits goes to seniors over 65 instead of just the wealthy seniors with Roth IRAs. It also includes an income cap, meaning it will be targeted to low income and middle income seniors. Okay, replacing the special corporate depreciation allowance with funding for public infrastructure projects. We keep no tax on tips with income cap, no tax on overtime with income caps, and the increased standard deduction. We also stopped Republicans from cutting the solar and renewable energy tax credits. Okay, so I just want to ensure that I share this properly. And it's not always easy because they don't like to make it easy on me. Hold on. Yeah, that would be great.
Oh,
Do you,
let me get this too.
Ages and stuff. And so that's a good point, right? Because you've got money coming in and then you've got money going out. But the one thing that I would say is that in this thing, we're a balanced budget state. So we're required by law to have a balanced budget. You can't go in the red, right? So everything has to pencil. In this case, what saved us really is what Janelle mentioned, is that JLBC, the Republicans' budget that they pushed forward, cut the shit out of everything. And they were using as an excuse that we were going to have less revenues than we thought we were going to have coming in. So less money means we get to cut everything, right? At the last minute, JLBC, their own budget office came forward and said, holy cow, look at all this extra money that came in. And that kicked their feet out from underneath them. Then there was no excuse to cut everything so drastically when we had more money than we thought we were. And so that's why all of these things were able to be backfilled, right? And so in addition to the data center thing, it's a new tax. We haven't had a new tax. I don't even know when the last time we had a new tax was, but it's 57 million next year. And that number grows and grows and grows. So that's extra money coming into the general fund that we can use to pay for whatever we need to pay for. But let me read some of the things from Health and Human Services alone. Is that stop the Republican plan to kick off 40,000 Arizonans from access. And that was a result of the federal HR 1 cutting off the federal funds, right? Because in Arizona, we've got a huge access program, but we get a 4-to-1 match. So for every dollar we put in, feds put in 4, and they cut their end, right? We were able to get that money and backfill it with state funding. 20 million from HR 1 mitigation, which is 163 full-time employees at Access and DES to ensure Arizonans don't lose healthcare coverage and food benefits. 17.9 million for vital services for developmentally disabled community. 324 million to fully fund state employee healthcare. Republicans were trying to increase state employee healthcare premiums across the board. They were able to shut that down. No premium increases. 5 million area agencies on aging services to vulnerable seniors. 1 million special appropriations to tribal agency on aging. 4.3 million for critical access rural hospitals. 500,000 for AZ Reach, which is acute medical care patient transfers between hospitals. 300,000 for urban Indian organizations to offer tribal traditional healing services. There was a small program, I think, in tribal land to cover traditional healing methods, and now they can do it statewide. 4 million for behavioral health crisis services, 3 million for civil legal aid, which is huge because it prevents evictions. 3 million for United Food Bank. 2 million to double up the food bucks for if you have a kid in a Title I school, I believe you get the card for the food. Sun Bucks. DES foster care, coaching young adults, guardianship, foster care. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And so I think the real answer is that everything that we wanted got fully funded in comparison to the Republicans that tried to cut everything 5%, right? So the agencies that were held harmless in this whole thing were Access, DES.
right, I was gonna go into the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
list
yeah.
now. So as much as you hear all the cuts, just be sure that there were no cuts in access, child safety, corrections, economic security, forestry and fire, health and insurance, and health, and then insurance and financial institutions, juvenile corrections, public safety, veterans, water resources, and everything with the deaf and blind, which is big for us. You'll see some other things, but these are really critical. And so I'm really glad we were able to find additional funding because that was going to be really hard. Yeah.
Just 3 questions. the first question, just out of curiosity, listening to you and John talk, there was the money that was found. I'm just curious, like what was it? Like found where was it? Like tax revenue that came in later or something, or?
It's
just,
related to that and different programs. Like if you realize some things just aren't there, there were certain areas that like were not necessary anymore. There was funding from some motorcycle program. Like we went through it line by line yesterday. And so they shifted that, closed that program because nobody was using it. It was sitting there. And then, so it's stuff trying to find outstanding programs and revenue, just like the data center issue. I was the one who brought it up and introduced that bill, and nobody had thought about it. And I had asked from just 20 to 10 years, right? I asked for that, basically the tax incentives. Do we have a moratorium for 10 years? And I got 3. I'm still going to fight for 5 till we get there, you know. But and that's why I said nothing's set in stone. These are all conversations, but it's just trying to find all these loopholes that we're all aware of and trying to figure that out. The book alone is like 300 pages when you're talking about possible revenue, right? And so how does that possible revenue, where does it impact and how does it impact, and is it relevant? Because that tax incentive was made in 2013. You know, is it relevant today? We did that tax incentive to drive business to Arizona. We did great. They're here. Okay. Right. We're now a technology hub. We're in competition. Now it's being responsible about it. And so, and trying to find more of those areas where we can be better. And as policymakers, that's our job.
I appreciate that. Second question is about the data centers. Just this is also of interest to me. Just I'm curious about AI in general and following the data center debate.
Right.
And I heard that it was characterized as like this is a new tax, will more or less that will cause more money to come in. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about how the moratorium works. I like assume that the people that are already here operating data centers under the before the moratorium, are they going to be paying taxes now? And then if not, is the tax break moratorium, like can cities and towns still do that if they want to, or is it like an across the board, just out of curiosity?
So couple questions. Those who they're grandfathered in. So anybody who's been here for X number of years or got in last year, they are not going to pay taxes for 20 years. Right. So it is a moratorium for any new businesses. And currently the Arizona Corporate Commission has 10 in the pipeline for next year. So those 10 will not have that tax credit or that incentive, and they will have to pay taxes. So, and that accrues about 57 million over the next 3 years. So that's what we get from that grouping at this time. And so if they're still applying, that means that money actually grows. That's what mathematically we have from what's expected. And can city and towns additionally create? Yes, technically there's no preemption, but each of them have different ways of dealing with that. And there have been bills that have been introduced. There is ways in discussion regarding data centers. We've talked about small SMRs, which is nuclear energy, that got tossed out in the budget. We're not talking about that. We're going to dig deeper. We're not Arkansas, who gave the green light for it. And we also didn't agree to buy zoning, which is basically that companies can purchase land to create a data center. And so that Republicans wanted that, and we eliminated that conversation in the budget this year. And that's super important because that can be manipulated in so many ways, right? And we haven't seen a good practice right now. There are states like today, Washington passed a 1-year moratorium. New York passed a 1-year moratorium. The 3-year is awesome. It is the most aggressive moratorium in the country. We still have to deal with development. We still have to deal with energy efficiency and better ways of trying to basically not have water and energy waste. So we've got a lot of things to talk about next session. So there were 13 bills regarding data centers that were introduced this year. I posted my one last year. So I think we're in the right place, and I think you'll see a more aggressive legislature next session.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate the answer and your interest and attention in the issue.
Oh, it's super important to me. I mean, rates will go higher. There's a study by ASU about how the heat's now being impacted by these data centers. So this is truly something we are at the forefront of, And we need to continue and bury into all elected officials about how important this is.
What water issues are in your budget, are in the budget?
Water issues. Oh, yeah. Okay, so with water, you mean what did we pass in water?
Just anything that has to do with the budget as far as water.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull that right up. And that's what I say. Okay, so with regards to water, we got 9.5 million in water quality fee fund, 2 million in the Iron King mine and Humboldt smelter contaminant cleanup, 6 million for the Colorado River litigation fund, 1.5 million for the geothermal renewable energy research, 2.2 million for vehicle repair programs to help working class dealing with the cost of vehicle repairs. And sorry about that. And then we stopped the Republicans planning to sweep the Heritage Fund. We got 10 million for wildfire suppression, 10 million for emergency fund. That's matching FEMA for the Gila and Mojave County flood recovery. And we stopped Republicans from making a disastrous cut to Arizona's solar energy incentives, which is a big deal because we saved TPT exemption for solar energy devices and all kinds of other things. But that's water and solar. So hopefully that helps. But there's still more to get done with regards to water. There was a bill that went through today regarding water displacement and groundwater, moving possible groundwater from Pima County to Maricopa County to deal with our issues. But anyway, that went through with flying colors in the Senate, in the House today. So that's still in discussion because Maricopa loves their lawns. I'm just kidding. I don't know what to say to that, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just, I know you're gonna be back from making run for Mike, so I have a quick one. So kind of switching gears to education. I know ESAs, that's kind of the hill Republicans want all of us to die on. So could you give us any updates on at least kind of what we expect with this budget?
Okay, regarding education, we got 183 million for school building renewal grants, 37 million in Opportunity Rate, 29 million in K through 12 additional assistance. Big one for me was 2 million for school meals. My kids were up the yin yang about school meals. Okay. And so 2 million for Arizona Arts Commission, 600,000 for K through 12 community garden grants. We blocked the Donald Trump federal STOs. We cut Arizona's corporate STOs by 25 million in the long game. Protected universities from ongoing cuts. They had major cuts in the last couple of years. They wanted to do more. They're still getting a slight cut this upcoming year, but it's not as steep as in the past. And then we fully protected vital research funding for our public universities. With regards to ESAs, wasn't on the table. And it's something that, like, no matter what, we started off with ESAs, it wasn't going anywhere. And again, that's the emphasis of the people who were in the minority. So, but yeah, any other?
So I guess I'm taking this into basically, it comes down to the fact that,
Yeah.
Because that's the hill they're gonna die on.
At the very least, get one. We got to be one short at the very least. So yeah, but the majority would be nice. Yeah.
So personal peeve of mine, are we spending any more money on these gated communities around public buildings? The fencing around the Capitol, they're now putting one in around an ADOT building across the street from my house, like spiked fences around buildings.
I mean, if they did, that's the budget from last year that's implemented this year, and I don't know about this year.
What was it?
And not quite sure because that was, I think, a security measure back in the days. But I don't know about this year. It wasn't discussed on security funding. No, I just know we did get funding for the Secretary of State's detail. That I can tell you when it comes. And then there's some random stuff that we also got. But go ahead. You were going to ask a question?
Hello, how are you?
Hi.
I was just wondering, so I know John said that there's full funding for legal aid for
yeah, it's
eviction.
huge.
How is there a way that we can get that information out to the public that it's actually available?
Yeah, once it passes, right?
When people come into the court, like, I have a lot of resources there, but a lot of people don't know until they're there and it's too late. They're already going to be evicted. You know what I mean? Like, it needs to be,
That it's our job to get that message out. Hospitals, everybody talk about it, 'cause they're at the forefront of evictions and sharing that they have legal aid. And then maybe for us to do something in uplifting legal aid, because they're all different pockets, right?
right,
All throughout the state. And so I'm sure the AG will do something related to it. I do want to say that she did win a continuation on her division of civil rights as well. Which is big. And, you know, I think that getting that word out is utilizing all of our resources. When I say resources, I'm not talking about water, I'm talking about church,
right.
religious institutions, places where people feel comfortable to go to, community centers, leaders. I need to share that that's possible, that is available now. Just like when, 2 years ago, we were able to give assistance with those who were trying to deal with the exact terminology, removing cannabis challenges from their record.
Expunge.
Yeah, I ran a whole training on it, so it's stuff like that. By getting the word out is the best way, and
Right.
utilizing the tracks where people are comfortable. We have different chats, national chats and state chats, discussing what we can give as resources. So that's super cool. You just type it in.
Let me try.
Okay. Yeah. So, but I think, once we get the green light on Friday, I'm happy to share something with Chester. Maybe he could sass it up and kind of share it with everybody in our LD. And then maybe drive a text to, want to know what more we can get, and what the state's offering. Take a look at our site, and then driving people to that would be probably helpful. Sharing the information as well, and your social media links, I think, is also helpful. I think, again, going in those routes that our communities feel more comfortable with is extraordinarily important. So, what else? Any questions? Hopefully that was helpful. As you know, summer's here. We still hit doors. Primaries around the corner, and we should be helping everybody down and up and down our ticket, no matter what. And hopefully, what you see in this budget is only a reflection of what we could do now. But imagine what we could do more in the next session if we get really good people in office. And all we need is a majority on every school board, a majority on every city council, and a majority in the legislature. But, I'm not asking too much, right? I'm always going to shoot for the stars. But with that, Chester, all yours.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right. Did you want to share anything, Your Honor? Okay.
Have to stand up there.
You don't have to, but.
Okay.
Turn the camera to face.
Oh. Hello, everyone. I am I go by Judge Jen Hernandez Sama. I am the Justice of the Peace here, formerly downtown, now El Centro. This position is extremely passionate for me coming from Maryville.
They're going to try out, but they're going to try out in the case in the the courts that have a high number of evictions. I don't know, you know, hopefully it works, but I think that what would be great is if we did some type of pre-settle. Because once we're at court, you know, and they're always willing to work. The landlords are always willing to work with the tenants, but they want that eviction. And then it's a post-judgment agreement. You know, I'm hopeful maybe one day they can do some type of like counseling and assistance to it before court, so you don't get there when people aren't unhoused. It's tough. And then of course being downtown, have a lot of homeless people that are cited with trespassing at the Capitol. Which those cases probably will never be closed, which is frustrating. And but I do help when I adjudicate the cases to mitigate as much as I can to assist people because it's tough. I know we're all, you know, everyone's going through it. And I understand that. I'm just not on the bench to be there and say, okay, this is what it is. You do this, boom. No, like I literally take it personal. Because I know. I'm just saying, when you think of judge in your head, I mean, I don't pop up, you know. But again, it's not just a title for me. I do take being a public servant to heart. My father was appointed, I don't know, I can't remember, like 15 years ago. But like I told him, Dad, you're a man, I'm sorry, but men judges can't show their compassion and empathy on the bench where I am able to do that. He just laughed at me. He said, yeah, you're right. I had to be tough, you know, but even with young kids that come in, I encourage them, you know, and just giving them advice as to, okay, you made this mistake. It's a mistake. Now, if you continue doing it, you know, then that's a problem. But, you know, this is a mistake. Don't get down on yourself because you could still get where you need to be in life. I've had a couple cases in the last month where 2 kids, I say kids, they're in college, with plea deals. And so I asked, okay, so tell me what happened. So they went on to tell me what occurred, and I'm like, okay, did you tell us, you know, the state attorney this? They're like, no. Like, okay, I'm not going to accept your plea. You need to go back and talk to the county attorney, sorry, and let them know. Both college kids, and both cases within a week were dismissed. I don't just take the plea to take the plea and get it closed. Like I really understand me in this position is to help my community and be there. And beyond the bench, I'm out in the community. You know, so thank you. I just wanted to share that. And I am up for my primary.
Thank you. So on that note, and kind of what Janelle was saying about this funding going towards these proactive services to support people, we could potentially use our platform on Switchboard and Van to target lower income people in the district and send out a text blast informing them. We could even put a website together ourselves with those resources, branded. I have to comment here. Branded potentially, so they know who is giving them these resources, or at least educating them. So that's something we could potentially work towards. That is the kind of stuff that I would be excited to do. So, did you have something that?
Yeah, the mic's dead, so
Is it?
Yeah, it's been
It's a prop.
I switched it to this next year. So I didn't want to interrupt her, but it was like, yeah, this mic's the battery died. Yeah, so something I want to throw out there, because I think and I was thinking about this based on like I'm sorry, Gina. What Gina was saying is that, you know, historically we've pushed out a lot of text messages. We've pushed out like mailers. I've designed like 90% of them. You know, all this type of stuff. I'm wondering if we want to maybe consider, and this is something I'm kind of putting out to like you guys who are here and the people, you know, that sitting at home, is if y'all are willing, maybe we should start, because we have social media, you know, we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, got all that stuff, that we start like maybe like putting out really short videos talking about why this stuff matters and what, you know, because like for example, the representative, she's really good about posting stuff. All of our reps are good about it. But the thing is that let's just hear from like regular people. I know the state party's been doing this whole like tell your story thing, and I don't know how well it's working one way or another, but just thinking about the people in this community, if people are willing, and I know some of you, I mean, I'm kind of in that boat that I have to kind of worry about, like my day job, so I have to be a little more careful what I do on the front side of the cameras now. But the thing is, I know a lot of you guys don't have that challenge or don't care. And what would be, I think, cool is hearing from regular folks, you know, like hearing from, you know, like your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, you know, people who just live in the community, say like, look, I got a mic in my face, I got a camera, I don't do this for a living, but this is why this is important. Please register to vote. Or, hey, there's some good things that came out of the budget, those type of stuff. I mean, will it get everybody? But a little bit might help. So that, and it's something anybody can do. It's really easy. And I'm willing to like volunteer my time. So if you're not comfortable, you don't know how to do this stuff, I'm willing to volunteer my time to like just get you filmed, get you mic'd up, get it all thing. All you gotta do is just either meet me somewhere, or we could do it like in a meeting, and I can just set up and just do a quick like 30-second like blurb. Hell, I'll even write you a script. But, you know, I think that might help a little bit, just getting people engaged, because that stuff gets us more traffic. When I post stuff that is people like regular folks talking about things, we get the algorithm just likes that a little bit more.
Okay.
So
we could be on TikTok too.
I mean, TikTok's a pain because it's like you have to constantly post. That's the other
yeah,
but
that's where the kids are these days, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're on the gram too.
Did anyone have any questions about the Protect the Vote initiative? Because Genevieve spoke very quickly. I know she needed to leave, so were there any questions?
Information back here as well.
You have what?
I have all of her contact information.
All our contact info's there. We have the ballots. We can pass those out if you want to collect signatures yourselves. If you haven't signed it, please do. It's extremely important. Republicans are already trying to shorten the window for voting early, so that the weekend before election day, you can't go. So those people who put it off to the last minute show up at the polls and get turned away because they work on Tuesday like normal people. So like they're already just fucking with shit, right? So let's be proactive. Let's protect our rights.
I want to just add something that I don't know. Again, I was kind of multitasked out of here, everything Genevieve said, but something I think we got to really have in our mind about this whole thing is that we don't have a Voting Rights Act protection anymore. So if you are Black, brown, female, you change like your last name, whatnot, all that stuff is pretty much out the window. sadly to say, we really don't have federal court protection anymore because SCOTUS is basically, for lack of a better word, said, kick rocks when it comes to voting rights. So in the short term, it's going to have to be initiatives like this for states to basically enshrine voting rights because the states ultimately control the voting rights. Okay, we've got a county recorder who, again, this is not hyperbole, is going to try and screw up this midterm. The dude is not even really trying to hide at this point. So the thing is, like, for Protect the Vote is one of those things that where, one, please sign that petition, please carry it around, get other people to sign. And this is one of these things where it's an easy conversation because whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, whether you just are D, none of the above, the fact of the matter is most people, at least I know, who either float between the two parties or are, let's say, ideologically ambivalent, they do believe that folks at least need to be able to vote whatever they're going to vote. And that's going to happen. It's going to impact it. I don't know if she mentioned it, but I think it really just needs to be hammered home is that short term, this is our only protection for voting because without it, the heaps of the world, and, again, I feel very confident that, Fontes will get reelected, but he's got two opponents who will be more than happy to basically limit our voting to like two of the individuals in the room. I'll let you, or three of the individuals in the room. I'll let y'all figure out who those people are. So no shade, but that's just how important this is.
You look at me when you say that.
I was looking at him. So
What's up?
4th of July is coming. I think we should fight for Protect the Vote right up to 4th of July. Now, I'm saying not more, I mean, just out there, but I feel like our branding of protecting the vote, our nation's birthday and country and our freedom.
That's
the
July
brand is what-
2nd, for the technical.
Is it July 2nd?
Yeah, and I'll just add some. I've been working with them doing signature slams, and it's a pretty easy conversation to say when you're telling folks that, hey, we're going to put it on the ballot so you can enshrine your voting rights into the Arizona Constitution. That's it. That pen gets grabbed right away. And we were at Fan Fusion this weekend. A lot of Spinal Basics. A lot of folks that you didn't think would sign this ballot initiative were signing it. I've been hitting up, saw Isaac today at the library, and I saw Lindsay at the library this morning. I was out there, and I've been hitting up the Levine Library, and I got a couple of events that I'm going to. Really easy conversation. People are excited, signing just that brief elevator speech on why it's important, and people will sign it. So,
yep. My opening is: do you vote?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Do you vote by mail or do you go in early? Cool. Then sign this. Like,
and again, 75. I think I want to say like 80% of Arizonans don't agree on much, but they agree on the fact that they want to mail in their ballot.
You like options?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like options? Isaac?
Lizzie, are you point of
Oh, I thought you had your hand up.
what's that?
Are you our point of contact for?
No, it's gonna be Genevieve. I happened to, they invited me over to the meeting from this district. I'm part of the district, so I can say hi.
Okay.
Okay.
But I'm
Yes.
happy to go to your events.
And Isaac.
Okay, I'm old.
No.
50 years ago, when we were celebrating 1776 and 1976, there was this wonderful open fair down at the Capitol with oodles of people with all sorts of things to say and lots of people just meandering around. It's where I got my first pocket constitution. And is there anything in a positive note being done by the Democrats, by anybody?
Do you know, are we celebrating the birthday?
I think
America?
I'm kidding.
I mean, it's better than a UFC fight. I like the UFC.
I mean, are we celebrating? Yes. Are we celebrating the way that our nation's capital is? No.
No UFC fights the Capitol?
That's what I'm trying to say.
It seems like there's just no answer to that.
No, there's a whole program. I'm pretty sure, is that T-Rex program?
Yeah.
Secretary of State.
Secretary of State is leading that entire, I mean, it's a huge deal. The whole Paul Revere kind of like.
Yeah, they got around.
I think it's the Capitol,
I think it's on the Capitol.
Yeah, I thought everything's supposed to end at the Capitol because I know Laura did the whole like kickoff at like 4 a.m. or something insane, and then it's supposed to end at the Capitol. Don't ask me what the promo for it is because I just
I will research it and I will give it to Chester.
I'll give it to Patrick.
I know there's something else, but if you're asking about the program, and only because I have the COVID thing on it, I know there is a program.
I'm sure.
There's something I saw online, a concert, something or other.
There's a whole it's got a whole kind of like.
Rise Up, Sing Out.
Okay, so next I'm gonna let Sadia give our treasurer's reports.
All right, thank you, Chester. Okay. Okay. Kind of blurry.
Sorry.
All right, so as of the end of May, I'll just probably let me just open up your microphone. It might be easier for me to read. Okay, so, but as of May 31st, our bank account balance is $8,657.28. And we still had some active donation from last month that has been deposited after May 31st. So it came a couple days after. And I just deposited all the cash collection from last month today.
And I just gave mine today.
Okay, so we raised last month $1,515. Most of them came from our online active donation of $1,343. And last month's meeting, we raised $172. And unfortunately, our last month's winner, he decided to give his winning back to us. And I want to thank Senator Miranda and Representative De Los Santos for each donating $500. I appreciate everything they're doing. And we only spent $269.21, mainly for our monthly expenses at the Google Cost and Google. But only thing unique this month was Campaign Verify, which is the registration for Switchboard, which is our texting services to reach out to new voters. And as our election season approaches, we're going to have to reach out to more new voters, so not everything is free. So I appreciate if anyone's interested in donating, we'll share your link. And you can be a recurring donor or one-time donor, even $5, any money you'll spend for Starbucks doesn't matter. And we also have raffles too if you're interested. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sadia. So, like Sadia said, Oscar and Catherine did donate $500 each. Janelle just donated as well.
Wait, you should just said she sent her $500.
Keisha just sent us $500. Our mayor has
Not yet.
sent us a check, which I just checked the PO box and it's not there yet. But and then Yasmin has also pledged 500 towards. We're going to be starting our own fellowship program, which I'm very excited about. Talking about engaging the youth. We are going to try to hire 2 to 3 interns for 5 months for July through the election. So we'll pay them $200 a month stipend, and that'll be for a 15 to 20 hour a month commitment. We are hoping to organize and train motivated young people to organize and grow the LD. We will teach them to register voters, recruit volunteers, and improve voter turnout. It'll be in our district, obviously. I just felt like I had to put a where in the W's. And how generous support from local elected officials, including Catherine Miranda, Oscar, Janelle, Kate Gallego, and Congresswoman Yasmin Pansari. So I got ahead of myself there. I'm very excited about that. If you guys know anyone in the LD who this would benefit, Gina, maybe you have some high school kids that come to you every Wednesday who'd be willing to come to us once a month. And then on weekends to help, or Isaac is a school teacher, and he's running for school board. So I'm sure he knows some youths. Janelle, I know you said you get letters from the high school kids that are interested in learning more. Like this is a wonderful opportunity for our local youth to get involved and then help us grow the LD among their peers. So I'm very excited about this program, and I'm very grateful that our local electeds are willing to support us in this endeavor. Upcoming events tomorrow night, Tacos con Ana. So City Councilwoman Ana Hernandez at Centrico tomorrow night, which is on Monroe and first half.
Food is amazing, by the way.
Centerco is kind of a staple in South Phoenix, but they recently just moved to downtown. So I haven't been to the new location yet. So I'm going to be there. Protect the Vote petition pop up with Keisha Hodge Washington. That the location is provided upon registration, and that QR code on the left. But that's on Saturday from 3 to 5. I know it's at a wine bar, Turquoise Wine Bar. So location is available to you without registering, because I just told you.
Just doxed her.
Right, just blew up the spot. To anyone who sat through this meeting for 90 minutes. And then, of course, the dream continues. 14 years of DACA with Yasemin Ansari and Greg Stanton. That is on Monday from 5:30 to 7. That is open to the public. You don't have to register. Oh no, they do want you to register. I don't know the address to that one yet, so I can't tell you. But that link at the bottom is case sensitive. If you put in all lowercase, it'll give you some webpage in Spanish. What's up?
I have an event that I have to share with you.
Oh,
It's coming up Friday because we're obviously ledge. It's Monday, June 22nd. It's the mezcal and karaoke.
Okay, in case Zoom didn't hear that, Janelle is hosting a mezcal and karaoke event on June 22nd. Is that what you said?
Yes, Monday, June 22nd.
Monday, June 22nd. I love mezcal. I'll be there. Karaoke, I can take or leave, but
The best guy didn't matter.
Closing reminders, t-shirts are still free with a donation of $20. There's Barack Obama in one of our shirts, looking amazing. Yasemin Ansari holding one, so thankful. I have postcards available for mailing or lit drops if you just want to canvass your neighborhood and drop off postcards from LD11 Democrats to let the Dems in your neighborhood know that we exist. Petitions are available for circulation, as you know. And for both of those purposes, I can provide you a list of Dems in your neighborhood if you want to target those, or if you just want to hit every single door in the neighborhood, that's fine. 50-50 raffle tickets are still available for about 30 more seconds. You have to be present to win. Okay, and that's it. Isaac.
I just have a few events here as well. Tomorrow or no, Friday, actually, the State Bar Schools Protect Ed is having a happy hour at Signature Gathering. So if you're not really the type that wants to go on and knock doors for signatures, you can do it while you're under the influence. June 20th is the Protect Vote Grand Slam that's going to be out of Gas Beats headquarters. So that'll be on June 20th. If you want to gather signatures for Protect the Vote. We're thinking about doing Protect Educational Vote. Protect Educational Initiative signature gathering of me and our candidates as well. So and then on June 23rd, we're having our first school board candidate fundraiser, and this will be a partnership with Phoenix Union that Signa Oliver is hosting. And that'll be on June 23rd. They're finalizing details this week. Once I get them, I'll send them over to Chester, hoping the rest of the magic. And then next week on June 16th, for my Levine folks, our Levine quarterly is happening. That'll be there. And we'll have both of our councilmen in the building. So Jose's sister, Hernandez, and then also we'll have Vice Mayor Keisha Hodge Washington there. That'll be at the Center, formerly known as Travis Community Center, at 6 o'clock. So be there. Amazing updates. We're getting a lot of development to Levine. Movie theaters, shopping centers. Starting to be fun. Yeah, so move to the guys.
After 10 years.
How do we turn in the petition?
So
Like,
I was expecting Fern to be here to notarize, but Fern couldn't make it tonight. And our other notary, Shelby, is in Hawaii.
That's right.
So I don't know if Shelby's
But
watching.
once they're notarized, then
Feel bad.
once they're notarized, then what do we do?
So once they're notarized, I can take them and turn them in. I can also provide you with a list of events around the valley where you can go get them notarized and turn them in at the same time. Okay. So I had shared that with Jack already. I'll share it with you.
Okay. I can just get mine to Jack.
That works. They can
Is
check.
it all
No,
finance
cause you,
degree
you-
Oh,
right,
yeah.
yeah.
I'll just grab from it. But, and the other thing
There you go.
is, I do have, does anybody not sign these, the voting rights, the voucher, and I also have here DA Keisha to get around that. So, everybody sign? Okay.
Great.
So
Sign 'em. Cool. Anyone else have anything for the common good? Excellent. Okay, well, if there's nothing else, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate taking the time to be here. We'll do the raffle.
I talk about money. Speaking of money, really quick, we've tossed around the idea about maybe doing an online silent auction to raise funds for our LD, so we make more of an impact on helping our voters get out and vote. Just tossing it around if you've got things of ideas of things you want to donate or things you want to look for. I've already started talking to local businesses. So keep that kind of in the back of your head. If you've got ideas, email us or Chester and see if we can get that rolling in the next couple of months. But I think it'd be a really fun online auction through Bidding Owl. I've worked with some nonprofits that use it. Good times. Get us some extra money so we can make more of an impact in this awesome district for us. Okay, for the 2020 raffle, we had a total of $43. Awesome, great start. So that means that whoever wins gets $21.50. And I did shred up all the tickets for everybody. We bought a bunch of tickets to make it equal with people who spot 1 or 2. So I have no idea who's gonna be drawing, but hopefully the odds are in your favor. Last 3 are 078. 078. That's you. Would you like me to then you get someone to be? Oh, thank you. That's awesome. You guys are under no obligation to donate back to us. The 50-50. We of course appreciate help pay for our rooms and our meetings and everything else. With that, enjoy.
Thank you.
Good,
Thank you, everyone.
I'm gonna bring up one more point.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think when we were talking about joining LD, we were talking about joining Lucia and LD, what about, do you think we could like raise funds for to have it at Front Ranch and have like food trucks or something like that?
Yeah.
Do you know about
I mean, yeah, I've
Oh, I
done it
love
before. It's like a steep, I could probably get it for about, with food trucks, for about $82 grand.
Yeah.
The expense I spent last time there was about 3,500. That's with food, location.
Yeah.
And if we did do that with food, I mean, they'll be up for, like, if we're dishing out food, they're gonna come.
Well, that's what I
So
mean,
like,
that's what-
food and music, like, it's just more coordinating with Corona Ranch, like, with their schedules, because it's like a busy time right now.
So
When
nothing.
do you guys usually meet? Like, would we be able to do it during the week or would it have to be?
Yeah, so the high school students meet every other Wednesday at 5:30. And then we have our folks that meet in the trailer park here in South Mountain once a month, so we can combine those two folks. That are
How many
there.
people are there?
It's about like 4.
So that's like smaller than Corona Ranch,
That's true.
and there's a lot of other places that you can find that I think would be exciting that's in our district, like the Heritage Foundation. There's a lot, you know, Latino Foundation, you know. So, but happy to. I'm coordinating this now that I just. I feel like it's.
Yeah, and those are like the members that are like from the 2 different barrios on the south side, but like, you know, they know folks, if we were to like turn out folks and like spend time to do outreach.
Yeah. I think we could totally do that. You all just need to show up. So like, meeting LD 11, our members need to show up.
Yeah.
These kids will show up.
Yeah.
I show up with food.
Right.
And, you know, she knows, like, and they tell them about it, they'll come.
Yeah.
I just need elected officials, and more importantly, our members of our LD 11 to be there to, and just be there. That would be important.
Adrian has also talked about organizing an event with us with food and possibly live music. So we can perhaps combine that effort.
Like a vote, protect the vote kind of thing, or what?
Just like, I don't know. We talked briefly about it at his campaign headquarter launch. So I don't know, just spitballing, but we can do this off camera. All right, adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.